Welcome, welcome to the Clinic Growth Map Success panel. Let me see you all pile in. Look at you all. Say hello in the chat, will you? Here's what I want to know. Where are you located right now? Where are you located and what type of therapist are you? Social worker, registered psychologist, LPC, all the other ones. Oh, there you are. Hi, we got an LPC. We've got Sarah from Kitchener. Welcome, welcome. Hello from Chicago, Quebec. Look at you all. I want you to check in before we start. But before you check in, welcome, welcome to everyone who's coming. Let me know where you are in the world and your title. But I want you to breathe in for a moment into your body and just check in and let me know what you need to hear today. Here's my promise. You will be inspired. Here's my promise. You will learn a lot from those who are ahead of you. But I want you to put it down now because I want to make sure what you came for, you get. What do you need to hear? What do you really hope? Something pulled you here for a reason. You were like, okay, and what is it? And say it in the chat. Amazing. I want success stories, ideally in private pay. Yay, Isabel, we got you. We have Christina here who's private pay. Lavonda has a hybrid practice. You'll meet them both. Isabel, where are you from? I'm curious. Let me know. Steps for hiring. Amazing. Growing. Washington. Okay. So we don't have anybody on the panel from Washington, but close to Washington. I work with tons of people from Washington. Amazing. These are all, so we've got 2 Americans, 2 Canadians. They've all graduated the Clinic Growth Map. Before we start, here's what I'd love to know as well. Do you already have a group? Will you drop the word group if you currently have a group practice, or if you're solo and you're just about to dip your toes in, drop the word solo. Amazing. Oh my goodness, so many groups. Any solo, solo, solo. Perfect. And some of you might be scared. Like that's why I want to hear from you. What do you need to hear today? Might be scared and you're like, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it. Or some of you are just feeling overwhelmed in your group or not knowing how to take it to the next level. I want you to know my commitment to you is that you don't only leave here inspired, that you leave here with all of your questions finally answered. There was nobody like me when I was doing this, and I just want to be that person for you to pave the way. And I've brought my business besties that worked with me. My team is also in the chat. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to be asking them questions. Now, at the end, they're going to answer your questions. So please put them in the chat. My team will answer questions if they're small, but if you want to talk to the panelists, they're all yours at the end. And I just really want to acknowledge you for committing your full energy to this hour and actually working on your practice. And because of that, I have a bonus for you for being here live. It really makes a difference. I love you on the replay when you're watching later, but for those live, do you want a bonus? Drop the word bonus if you're like, yes, please, give me all the things. Specifically, do you want 8 steps to a high converting specialty page, which will help you get on AI because that matters now. Bonus, bonus. Hannah says bonus. Eric says bonus. Jenna says bonus. Okay, amazing. So keep an eye out at the end. We're going to drop that. Okay. It is yours. It is a present for being here live. I really appreciate that. Anybody? We're going to bring them up in just a sec, but do you already know me, or is this the first time you've ever seen this face? Will you let me know if we're new? Just drop the word new. You're like, never seen your face before. Or maybe you're like, Nicole, we hang out all the time. And if we do, I'm curious, where? Is it the podcast? Or maybe Instagram? Oh my gosh, Haley, Renata, Marsha, welcome. Really nice for you to be here, and thanks for coming. For the new people, I'm going to take less than a minute to tell you who I am. I mean, I'm taking an hour of your life, so I feel like I should earn it. I am a retired psychologist turned business coach. I was in solo practice for 15 years. I loved it. Couples therapy, EMDR. That's truly why I was put on this planet to help people. Do you feel that? But then I just honestly, after that many years and that much trauma holding, I became burnt out. And then I became pregnant with twins. But I got a business coach and I was able in just 3 years to scale to 55 therapists, hit multiple seven figures, and sell it. And then after that, when I sold it, I remember thinking, okay, what do I do with my life now? And then I'm like, why don't I take it to my peers? And I did. And the clinic growth map was born. You get to meet the most amazing group practice owners today who did that business coaching program and see their success and learn from them. And of course, if you have any questions for me along the way, I'm here. Are you ready? Let's bring them up. Bring them up to the stage, Cass. I'm going to walk you through all their names. Then they will introduce themselves. Any Canadians here? Anybody here from Alberta? We have Caitlin from Alberta. You get to meet her. Anybody here from Toronto? Drop a me. We've got Ivan from Oakville, aka Toronto. Yay! Hello, Toronto and Alberta. We have Christina from Denver. She'll introduce herself. We've got Lavonda from Philadelphia. Hi, guys. All right, who wants to start? Lavonda, I would love maybe share how big is your practice? How long have you had it? And anything else. Oh, and your title would be important.
Yep, I am Lavonda Handy. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. We are located right outside of Philadelphia in the little Wynwood area. My practice is, we're at four clinicians now. We've had some transitions. So we've been at like eight and now we're at four. And we specialize in families, couples, teens, and we just love the work that we do.
Ah, you're so great.
Yes.
I would love to work for you, just so you know. I'm sure your team loves you. You have such good energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yvonne, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ivan. I'm a registered psychotherapist here in Ontario, and I have my private practice in Oakville, which is in the greater Toronto area. And right now we're a team of six therapists. We will be eight in a couple of months once we have more interns join us. And it's been an amazing experience. I started solo with very little clients, and I cannot wait to tell you about the growth that
Uh,
I've experienced.
and actually, one thing that's important, how long did you go from solo to where you are now? Like how many years?
Well, so I started the program in 2024, January 2024. By May 2024, it was already a group. I already had three therapists working with me, and yeah, it's been a joyful ride ever since.
I love that. Christina.
Yeah, hi everyone. Happy to be here. So I'm located in Denver, Colorado. My practice, including me, is a team of 10. All of our clinicians are full-time and fully licensed. We specialize in OCD and related disorders through exposure and response prevention therapy. Yeah, it's just been a really fun ride to get here.
And how long did it take to get there, would you say? How many years?
We're fully private pay, so that's a little bit different. And I was very intentional with our growth. And I also had a baby in there as well. So I would say 2023 was when I started scaling, and then I've just been bringing people along the way. But we've always kind of held steady at about like eight full-time therapists, I would say.
That's amazing. Wow.
Mhm.
And Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm a registered psychologist from Lethbridge, Alberta. And right now, myself and my business partner, we have couples to cradles counseling, and we specialize in maternal mental health, couples therapy, and children's mental health, including play therapy. And we are a team of, in September, we will be 27, including Chelsea and I. And yeah, we're excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's my first question. We'll start with you, Yvonne. Why did you want to scale? Like what pushed you? Because it is scary. You could have stayed comfortable in solo.
Yeah, totally. I think what pushed me was the fact that I had to struggle so much at the beginning. So I came to Canada in 2020. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. In 2 years after that, I was registered as a psychotherapist and decided to start working right away as a contractor. And I kind of had my side practice at the same time. It was a moment where virtual was really still kind of the choice that most people will go for. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do this virtually and it should be fine. But once you start to get into things like your website, marketing, hiring people wasn't even in the picture at that point because I wasn't full. And I guess seeing your content online was really useful. I think I attended like 4 master classes before joining in an open house because I was still kind of on the fence. But I think what did it for me was hitting rock bottom and feeling like I'm never gonna be able to retire doing this thing if I don't have some guidance. Like I was losing faith, bought a book on real estate. I didn't know what I was doing, Nicole.
I
So
think a lot of people relate to that. Yeah.
right. So it came to that point where I had to just pull the trigger on this. I knew I needed coaching, and that group practice was the way to go if I wanted to kind of achieve my goals. And fortunately, I have an amazing wife that told me, I'll hold the fort for you. Go for it. You have to do this. And I did that, and here we are.
Question about virtual. That's a really good point. Raise your hand if you're a panelist. Are you hybrid or mostly in person? Let's go with in person. Are you mostly in person? Raise your hand if you're mostly in person or hybrid. Christina? Okay, yeah. So I know I say this because I know there's people in the chat who are here today that are virtual only. And I'd love the panelists to speak to there is a shift happening, guys, a big shift that people you're just the truth is you're going to get busier. You can see all the nods if you're in person, and the panelists can speak to that if you want at the end. Okay. Also, I'm curious, raise your hand, panelists, if you have a partner that's really support. Well, is that awkward if you don't raise your hand to put you in the spot? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't ask that, but maybe raise your hand regardless. I'm just saying that because there's no way I could have done it without my partner. And thanks for like shouting them out, Yvonne. I think they need a shout out. Drop a me in the chat if you have somebody who's got your back. I had to tell I would joke and be like, I'm doing this business coaching program, guys. Nobody talked to me for 6 months. Like I was like, just let me, do it. Lavonda, what about you? What pushed you to scale?
So I started right in this back of 2020, and I was at a group practice, and I felt I didn't have control over my finances and how I was getting paid. And I think that really pushed me into solo. But then 2020 itself just created a space where, especially Black and Brown people, needed a space to have a voice. And it was an opportunity for me to bring people on and just be a safe space for people. And so I didn't want to have wait lists anymore. And so I needed to hire. And so I did. And so that allowed me to really create the space for people to have a voice, because that's what I've always wanted for
Mm,
myself. And I think if I'm practicing what I preach, then I put that out into the world.
that's so beautiful. It's like a calling. I really feel that. Yeah. Now, if we go to limiting beliefs, I'll start with you, Caitlin. There's probably somebody or 15 people listening where they're just a bit stuck. And I wonder, was there any limiting beliefs that you had to work through to make the decision?
Yeah, definitely. I think my biggest limiting belief was that I just wasn't a strong enough leader and that I just wasn't organized enough to run a group practice. So I kind of had that image of a clinic owner that was older than myself, that was more experienced, more established, somebody that had already been doing maybe the business side and knew that piece just so much more. And it's myself and my business partner, Chelsea, who's another psychologist, who we run it together. And really, I had to learn that leadership is something that you develop, and nobody's really expecting perfection, right? And as much as you want to be perfect, that's just unattainable. And that I didn't have to have every piece of the clinic in my head and that I could lean on support and just use communication when, things arose or we had to deal with problems, right? And just being a psychologist and being a good communicator, I think that was just such a good advantage as well. But
Mm.
also the systems and the guidance and just the support from other people around me were
Top of
huge.
me, yeah, if you relate in the chat that I'm too blank, fill in the blank. I'm too disorganized. I'm too young. I also worried about being a good leader myself because I'm bossy. Like I've been bossy my whole life. You know what I mean? That doesn't work. I was also controlling, like I had to work through all of that. I'm too young. I'm seeing this. Yes. Oh, yes, Lavonda, they're saying that you're a tiny bit low. Like your volume, just I can hear you, but it's just a tiny bit low. Just so I don't know if there's a way to hear you better. Christina, what about you? Any limiting beliefs you had to work through?
Yeah, I feel like trying to solve the people problems because I knew that they were going to come up. I'm very good at, there's an issue like recently, our office space has been too hot. Coordinating back and forth with like the office management to get the air conditioning turned up, things like that. That's fine. I can jump in and problem solve with that. But I knew that, as we know, as clinicians, human beings are complex creatures. And I have had people problems pop up. And I think I was concerned about like, how am I going to handle that? Because you also develop these relationships with your therapists that are very different, of course, than your clients. So I think that was something that was really on my radar from like early on, having been in a supervisory role previously, and something that I've worked through, but I kind of continue to work through to this day, I would say.
Yeah. What about you, Yvonne?
Well, for me, like I can relate to everything that's been said already. This idea that I'm too disorganized, like, and believe it or not, the first thing that my first hire told me, my admin was like, "You're so organized," because I already had everything, all the manuals and everything. I'm like, "Yeah, you keep believing that now, and I'll raise up to the challenge then." But things like that, the fact that I felt a little bit kind of out of place, like maybe like I didn't belong necessarily to this level, I guess. Being a newcomer to Canada, the representation piece that the Lavonda was saying as well, I think resonates with me too. It's like, do I really deserve to be here at this level? And that was something that, with time and with iteration, kind of started to fade away. You start to see that those are essentially that limiting beliefs. On the other side of that, there's a different kind of reality that it's much more open than the narrow-minded story that we're telling ourselves.
Hmm. What about you, Lavonda?
I think it's for me of just not knowing enough. Like if I don't know enough, like why would I try to take that like step? So sometimes maybe I do a little bit too much research, and then on the flip side, my impulse is I just go for it. And so it's knowing this middle ground that there's enough research out there, and I know enough to read enough to explore and to trust myself, and that if I don't know, I can figure it out.
Hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
think before that, it's just like, well, I can't do that because I don't know, so I won't.
Yeah. Anybody relate to that? Who's here that you're, or maybe even you're listening to every podcast, going to every event, and there's this dopamine hit that we get like in the learning phase that keeps us comfortable. Did you have that phase, Lavonda, where the action, like you just like, well, maybe there's more, maybe there's more. Yeah.
I'm really
How
good
long
at
did it?
creating. I'm really good at creating plans, and I get all the information, and then it's like the execution part gets I get guarded from that.
So that's the piece I want to talk about because there's people who are still there. So you did join the clinic growth map. Yeah, talk about how that happened.
So a friend who's also just like me, and she brought me to you, and I was like, okay, I think I need something, and so the clinic was my something, and I actually think it just really helped me organize myself to like, okay, you already have this thing in place. Here's how you can execute it, and then it's like you guys don't work with me, but you work with me. You're the team behind me that helps me execute and feel more confident to execute the plans and the systems that need to be put in place.
Oh, that's so good. Did the community help for me seeing other people? So when I'm at the cottage, the water you can't see through the water and everybody wants to jump in and it looks like I can't see the bottom. I don't love it. So I wait until everybody else jumps in and then if they're not like, like they're looking a-okay, then I'll jump in. And I was a bit like that with coaching, like seeing everyone else do it, it really did. It's like, "Oh, okay." There's a bit of this bandwagon effect, which is amazing. Did you feel
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, it's really helped. The community is by far, and I'm a community person. I think that's how I lead my life. I was a competitive cheerleader, and so just like naturally, like this way of being with people, even if like you're doing this alone with a partner, you have to have a team of people in a community to do this group work. And I think that makes the difference of feeling confident enough to execute.
Yeah, for sure. Now let's talk marketing. Christina, you're up. People want to know what's working now. Things are shifting. What are you finding is working?
Well, I want to say first what's not working. Social media is not working.
I feel like it never works, but
Um,
yes.
Yes, we did make a Facebook and Instagram page, and I'm actually going to talk to my admin about it because I'm like, why are we spending time and money posting on this? And I want to mention that because I actually feel like there's a lot of therapists out there that are investing all of this energy and doing TikToks and posting to Instagram and things like that. And I personally don't see the ROI on it. I would love to hear from the other panelists if they've had a good experience with that. SEO. SEO and our website. That's really what we focus on is really just the SEO and having the beautiful website. And I think just making sure that everything within our brand is cohesive. So we have a gorgeous office, the website mirrors that. Everything we do is really high quality in terms of what we're putting out there.
Yeah. What about cash flow at the beginning? Because I feel like some people are like, oh, I know that's important, but shoot, like I can't afford thousands of dollars yet. Was it
Mhm.
something that you tweaked, like continued to learn and tweak? Or was it, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Somebody who doesn't have
Yeah.
cash. Yeah.
Well, I we didn't grow into the massive office until this year. So I started in solo. It was me subleasing office space 2, 3 days a week. And then when I was growing, I'm like, okay, I really looked at the numbers. We need office space for these therapists. We got 4 therapy rooms, waiting room, small kitchen. Then March 1st of this year, we moved into a huge office with 9 therapy rooms, huge waiting room, kitchen. But we didn't need that at first. So that really helped with cash flow. I did redo our whole website, and that was an expense. I think because I was in solo practice doing private pay, I was able to take that money and, have that cash flow still coming in and then invest that into the business. But I would say the big ticket items like the website, I did do very soon into scaling to a group because that felt really important.
Can I just underline that for everyone? It's the most important. It's the place where everyone lands. And just like Christina, I continued to see the clients to pay for the things at the beginning. That's just the season that I was in. The first thing you want to change is your website. Do you agree with that, Caitlin?
Yeah, for us, social media, because we started and we had a big presence online that continued to help and support us. But for us, like it wasn't our main source of referrals, but it did supplement some. And our website, and that was a big expense at the beginning because we had a completely new website and we spent a lot of money to create enough web pages and we did professional photos to make everything look cohesive. And then also our platform, our booking platform was so important and making sure that once people got to the website that it was easy for them to book that free consult, that
Yes.
we didn't have people because we're still our own admin because we have some control issues. So we don't always want people necessarily calling. So we want to make it super easy to book online, which the majority of people do. There's still people that call and email, and that's good. But we wanted to make it like so easy. And that's what makes us different than other psychologists and therapists in our community is that our website is easy to navigate. It's super clear where to book if you want couples or child therapy. We just make it so seamless.
Yes. And you use Jane app.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Jane. I'll drop a 2 month coupon for you guys, but know that most people book at 7 p.m. or way later when you're fast asleep. Did you know that they're more likely to show up if they book their own appointment?
Mhm.
Use online booking. And I'll tell you something. I don't know if you're doing Google Ads, we can talk about that too. But our expert in our program, he was showing me the stats. I always like to see everyone's stats. And he was saying if you have online booking coming off a Google ad, you should just see the conversion rate in the graph. It was dramatically different. Anybody here, be honest, don't have online booking yet? Tell me the truth in the chat. Don't be shy. I know there's some of you. Yeah, Renata, that's okay. I removed it. I would put it back in, Marcia. We can talk at the end more about that, but I'll give you a coupon for I like an online booking with faces. I think that's really important, and I really like Jane. Um, Up next, Yvonne, before you tell us your marketing secret, tell us how you're doing on social. Just before you do, I had a whopping, you ready for it? When my group practice, 7 figures, a whopping 400 unengaged followers. So it is possible to have no followers at all.
Yeah, I totally agree with everybody. Like the social media, we do it just to tickle the algorithm somehow, let them know we're alive and active. But something that we're doing differently, I feel, with social media is that I have somebody go in there in the community Facebook app groups, like Moms in Oakville, things like that. So we start to create a little bit of presence there. Nothing pushy, just a motivational post, something engaging in some kind of way, just so that we get to have our name pop up here and there for the people that would eventually then can potentially show interest in that. It's hard to track though, who finds us on social media. I would say the marketing piece that we rely heavily on is the combination of the Google Ads and the website. Google Ads is key in driving traffic and conversion, but if you don't have a good website, then again, all that falls through the cracks. So we've made considerable investment in that, and I feel that's the piece that has made the most of a difference. And another thing that we do, maybe marketing wise, but also hiring wise, is that when I started the practice, I pulled the region's census data, and I identify all the language communities. What are the second languages that are mostly spoken in the area? And I hire with that in mind, because those community languages, language communities actually, are a very good source to tap into. The therapists themselves that belong to those communities can do a lot of the marketing because they're known or whatever. So a lot of people will want to come and speak in their own language if they want to talk about mental health. And I think that's proven to be quite effective for us.
I love that. And do you find your cost per client for your Google Ads is cheaper? You would assume you're competing with less people. Like, do you do ads for
We don't do ads in different languages, but having
or
people in the clinic that speak those languages, I think makes it easier for us
yeah,
to get more of those clients.
yeah. You might want to consider doing it not in that language, but saying like we have like French speaking, Arabic speaking.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the next thing.
Yeah. Amazing. That's a competitive advantage. Really good. Smart.
Mhm.
Lavonda.
I would agree. Website is key. I think I had a really nice website before. I've had people actually call and say, we really liked your website. But then when I switched it and I updated it, that same client said, thank you for updating your website. Now, he's
Oh,
also in IT and all that. So he recognizes how beautiful it can look and how it can attract people. But that has been literally key to allowing us to gather more clients. And then I would also say that actually updating your Google business page And so Google can really like track that this is an active space that people are coming to. So I've updated with some kind of new post, with keywords and everything every week, and sometimes twice a week,
Yep.
so that Google knows that we are active and going. And for social media, I just do it for fun. I really enjoy social. I like being in front of the people and I like engaging with them. So the business Instagram is not as active, but I have a personal TikTok and a personal like Facebook. And I have to agree with Yvonne, going in the community groups makes a difference. And my SEO team said, get in the community groups. You're in the face of the people. They know that you're in their community and they feel more connected to you because you're
Yeah.
actually in the community.
Google Business Profile matters more than ever. Link your blogs, update it every single week, like set a reminder right now. And why it matters is the bots are constantly checking. Think about it. Google doesn't want to make a mistake. They want to keep their reputation and spit out the best people. If it looks like, ooh, they might, I don't know, it hasn't been updated in a while, they're going to go to the practice that's updated. So they know that they're open, yeah, and they're credible, etc. Just a note about the website. I find because of the economy, people are taking longer to make decisions. They're going to your website a few times before they book. That wasn't the case. Remember when they just came to us? It was an avalanche, 2020, the good old golden days are gone. And that's why a website really matters. Uh, Especially if you're private pay, especially if you want a premium rate, please have a premium website. Some of you have outgrown your website. You're increasing your rate, but you're not like fine tuning the website to match. And they're noticing and they're bouncing. Design matters now more than ever. Yeah. Okay. Next up, everyone wants to know, okay, you've got this practice. Caitlin, we'll start with you because you have such a big practice, 25, right? I think you said 25 therapists. How many clients do you see? Any? Do you do any therapy personally anymore?
Yeah, so I still really like being a psychologist and I still really like love the clients that I see. So I still see anywhere between 10 and 15 clients a week. With that being said, it's myself and my business partner. So we split a lot of those admin pieces, right? She does a lot of the direct billing and the more admin side of it. I do a lot of like the marketing piece and the social media piece, and we're able to balance it that way, but I still see some clients. I used to see like 25 to 30 clients a week. Like
Yeah.
it was wild.
Yeah. So now it sounds like you love doing it. This is part
Yeah,
of your
yeah,
calling. So you're keeping. And
absolutely.
I mean, to me, that makes sense, especially if you're supervising. You still want feet on the ground, like doing some of the work, just so you
Yes.
get a sense,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
What about you, Christina?
Yeah, so I also love seeing clients. Like, I love it. I miss it, to be honest. I see about five a week now. I could see none if I really wanted to, but yeah, I just love it. It fills my cup, especially working with OCD and related disorders, because I do a lot of consultation for the therapists and it's such a niche. I do feel like it's important for me to just be keeping up with that skill set. Like, they say, like, if you don't use it, you lose it. So just being able to like be in the exposure space and doing it. But I will say I have two really good friends from CGM. We do a consult group together. We're in a group chat all day long. One of them sees zero clients, and then the other one sees about 10 a week. So there's a spectrum.
Yeah. Do you also do it for variety? I think I kept something because I wanted variety. I did. I just thrive on variety. I wanted to be a CEO, but I really did want to soften into therapy and then move to supervision.
I think it keeps me like in the know with seeing clients in terms of like what the therapists are seeing and dealing with, because I almost feel like if you don't do it at all, you sort of like forget the little nuance things.
Yeah,
This person was late. There was this billing issue, like just those things. I think it's important for us to keep in mind. And I definitely like the variety because when you own a group practice, it's a lot of like business management. So it's just like you're wearing a different hat when you're in sessions.
totally. Yvonne.
Yeah, like I really resonate with what Christina said because for me, what I've learned is I want to stay in my zone of genius, which is to see clients. That's what makes me happy. The business stuff does make me very happy too. That I just recently discovered. But I still want to keep seeing clients. I like the supervision aspect of it as well. And I still see between 8 or 12 clients a week. I haven't taken any new clients since November last year. So these are kind of more my steady long-term clients that I keep seeing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's also a matter of where you're at in your growth stage. Yeah, there will be times in which you will have to keep seeing clients because we need to think about, the revenue piece. All you make stays in the clinic, can be reinvested. Sometimes if you're planning something big, like I am, we need to kind of stay in the trenches for a little bit to get that cash flow going. But eventually the idea will be to slowly wind down on that.
Yeah. You have to tell us, what are you planning that's big?
I have to tell you, yeah. So again, my beautiful wife happens to be a neuropsychologist, and she just hasn't gone through the whole trouble of registering here. So I convinced her we're in that process so we can start offering assessments as well in the clinic.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah. You're
Yes.
gonna kill. You'll just, I mean, there's so many people, as you know, in Canada on wait lists waiting. Yes,
Yep.
that was our money maker, honestly, because the pie is so much bigger,
Hmm.
right? So the 40% or 50% that you keep is so much bigger, of course.
Definitely.
Really wonderful. That's really exciting. That's
Yes,
awesome.
very excited.
Lavonda.
I see about 10 to 12. I do also like to keep my feet wet. I'm obsessed with couples. They secretly, being a therapist, I get a lot of tea, so it's fun. But I also really love helping and just like being with people. And so I like to keep my feet on the ground. I've seen as low as like five, but I think I like seeing clients, and it makes me happy.
And Yvonne, actually, back to what you said, and I wonder, Lavonda, if you relate to this too. My husband Dan had a cafe. If you've been to my events, you've heard about Dan. Everyone knows Dan. And most businesses, if it's a slow day, Dan's just hoping for the best. But aren't we lucky if you know you're going to move into a bigger office, aka Christina or something, that we can see clients, we can make it rain. Like we can turn on the tap immediately. Like you've been seeing clients for how many years? So that really helped. That's not normal. Most people don't have that in their business, guys. So just a reminder. Yeah. I'm curious, Caitlin, how has your life changed? Let's talk about that in terms of income, in terms of freedom, in terms of flexibility, specifically after taking the 6-month program, the Clinic Growth Map.
Yeah. So I have two kids. Life is just busy, and we don't have a lot of support, like family support nearby. My kids are younger and in sports and so busy. And after schools, it's like practice and this and that and gymnastics and hockey. And I was really feeling burnt out before because I was working every day, seeing clients, and then activities and supper and all that. And now I don't work Wednesdays like at all. So I am home Wednesdays. I clean my house. I put on a true crime podcast, and I just can do whatever I want and reset for the next 2 days. And it's just wonderful that I'm able to do that. And then my days are just quieter, right? I see maybe four clients or two clients. So it just gives me more freedom to spend my time how I want to. And then even now, we're in BC at my in-laws for a couple weeks where I would feel guilty taking this much time off before because I think like, oh, I'm not seeing clients, I'm not getting paid. But now I feel that I'm just more relaxed about it, knowing that I still have income coming in, even though I'm not seeing clients directly.
Yeah. I think for me, it was like being a more present mom, not only present, like the flexibility of being home on a Wednesday, picking them up, but actually there, like present,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which a
Yeah.
really big deal for me. Really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Christina, what about you? As a mom with, I think, the youngest child on this call.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I really, truly, my goal was to get the group practice off the ground before we became parents. Like, I knew kind of like clock was ticking, we're going to have a baby. I feel like that for me was like the fuel and the motivation to really hit the ground running with getting the group set up. In our field, we usually have zero income during maternity or paternity leave. So I just can't say like what a gift that was to have the group just running and have the income coming in when I was at home with my baby. Like I feel like that was incredible. Yeah, and I think just the flexibility. Like with clients, we have our set schedule for the week. We have to commit to those sessions. It's a lot of evenings, as we know. Being able to just take him to swim class at 9:30 on Friday mornings or like pop over to the park during the day. That's really great. I think the flexibility piece is huge. And other than seeing in-person clients, you can kind of work from everywhere, anywhere, right? Like I think that is not a piece we don't talk about enough. Sometimes I need Wi Fi, sometimes I don't even need Wi Fi, but I can be in the car driving to the mountains, G chatting with my admin or sending a voice memo, and it can kind of be done from anywhere.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah. Yvonne.
Yeah, I think the my life has changed in many ways. It's just the freedom of again not having your time tied to, how much money you're making. We were able, like I took the whole family for a vacation to the Dominican Republic for a full month, and I didn't take one call, one email, nothing because the team was able to just do it. We even had two people coming in and they did the onboarding, got them started, and I came to find out after how it went, and it went really well. So something like that, I don't know how you can put a price to it.
Yeah.
Never experienced anything like that before. And yeah, I'm there for all the things that matter. I take my kids to school. I pick them up after. I'm out of work at 3 p.m. every day. And I think that that kind of freedom and the mental freedom of knowing that this big thing that I've built is also capable of running smoothly without me, I think that gives me a lot of peace of mind. Because at the beginning, when you're the one kind of pulling all the strings, it's exciting because you're creating something new. It takes a while for you to let go of that control. So the people you've trained do it, but once you do that, it's such an empowering and freeing feeling to
Mm.
do that, and I love that.
I want to just take a moment to talk to your younger self who thought he was disorganized. How does that feel? Like you're so systemized that
Mhm.
not only were you in Dominican, but you also onboarded two people. That's a really big deal. That's
Yes,
the part that's a bit mind-blowing. Yeah, it's
yes,
amazing.
yes. I'm very proud. Well done,
Yeah.
Ron.
Yeah. High five, Lavonda.
Very similar to what everyone else is saying. I was actually sick last year and I was out of work for 2 months in the
Oh,
hospital for
wow.
2 weeks, and the practice ran itself. And I think that nothing feels more comforting than being able to just really be home and take care of myself and know that I have a team here that had my back. I think
Wow.
that was the most supportive thing, and so I can really nurture myself and have my family nurture me, and my team just showing up, doing everything without me even knowing it. And I just got back here and just flowed back into the stream of work of things without having to have a worry that something was breaking down or that I was
That's
dependent upon myself to like gather things back up. So that was the most freeing thing and the most comforting thing of that, like I could truly take care of myself and this
wow.
place could be okay.
I mean, if you didn't have it, I would just be in panic, right? But this is what totally different. You're leaning on all of your hard work. This mountain of hard work is now holding you up. That's so beautiful. Caitlin, there's a lot of people that are on the fence, and even on the fence working with a business coach. What would be one piece of advice that you tell them?
We would not have a group practice if we did not do the McCants method. We made not necessarily so many mistakes, but there were so many things that we just didn't know. We had no idea how to go about implementing or even like simply paying people. We were grossly overpaying people just because we didn't really know the amount of expenses that it takes to run the business and the marketing piece and the Google ads and even hiring therapists and making sure that it's a right fit and what happens if it isn't. And there's so many pieces where Chelsea and I were just talking yesterday about something that arose. I'm like, I'm going to go back into the hub and see if there's some resources on this. I haven't been in there for a while, so I think I'm going to check it out. So, yeah, we're just so grateful that we wouldn't have a successful group practice if we didn't do it because there are so many pieces that you just have no freaking clue. And the support has been amazing.
I see you nodding, Christina. What about you?
This program has changed my life in so many ways, and it's so comforting for me to this day because I actually graduated from CGM in April 2023. So it's been a minute. I've been out there for a few years. And just any resource from the program, I very much trust. And it's interesting because I did business coaching before CGM, and I can compare. I can compare like working with an individual person. I also went to another group practice owners conference last year, not CGM. It just feels different. And I think it's just very much for me peace of mind knowing that if a resource comes from this program, it's very solid and legitimate. I'm actually going to be switching for like phones, email, G chats to a VA company. And my friends have used it from CGM, and I guess it originally was a CGM resource. And I'm just so excited for it because I know it's going to be great because it comes from this program. And even though it's been years, I've kept up with it. I went to the VIP dinner with Nicole in Denver. I'm going to the retreat in Canada. I think it's just comforting to know that as my practice evolves, I can rejoin the program for a month if I need to for a refresher because things are constantly changing. So that's really kind of like what's kept me going, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yvonne.
Well, I think somebody who's in the fence, you should know that if a part of you already believes you're meant to do greater things, we should listen to that part more. I mean, the skills that we have as therapists already prepare us to be good bosses, to be, great at making this an environment that works not only for us, but for our potential new hires and all that. And that tension that I was feeling back then, I know it came from those two parts of me kind of arguing. One with a lot of self-limiting beliefs, saying that I couldn't do it, that it was too expensive, or that what it was I was disorganized. And this other part that really truly believed that there was so much more that I could accomplish. And the tension will resolve when you make a decision, regardless of what choice you go with. But one will keep you where you are and feeling how you're feeling, and the other one opens the door for potentially, things that you have never dreamt of. And that's what happened to me. So I would say, do it, do it scared, as Nicole says, and you're not going to regret it. The community that you inherit from this program also will keep lifting you up. I see that this is a common thing. Like I was with a group of other clinic owners from the program having dinner a couple of weeks ago, and it's such an enriching experience to have a community of people that go through the same things that you are going through or are at different stages, and you can learn from, and not feel alone. That's a big thing, I feel, to not feel alone in this, and to be surrounded by people that truly believe in the dream and are living it.
Well said. I love that you guys all stay in contact, by the way. That's amazing. You have a chat all the time, Christina, and the dinners. Like, that's just so special. Friends for life. Like, they get it. They really do. Lavonda.
Yeah, once again, I recognize when I need support. And so if you're on the fence and you recognize that you need support, then take it, right? I think one of our downfalls is that we forget to ask for help as helpers. We don't know how to do that. And in this moment, if you're ready to grow, growth doesn't happen without support. If you're riding a bike or you're teaching your toddler how to ride a bike, you hold on to them a little bit first and then you let them go. And I think that's what's most beautiful about this program is that it can hold on to you for a little bit or as however long as you need, and then you can let yourself go. And so I would 100% go for it, because the community and the support and the guidance is what I didn't have. I started my group practice before I was in Nicole's program, and I was probably throwing spaghetti at the wall a whole bunch. But the systems and the organization, and just an opportunity to speak with like-minded people who are in the same space or ahead of you or behind, it just gives you the confidence to really make all the necessary steps and build something that's really beautiful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Cassie's gonna bring you to the backstage and then bring you up in just a moment. And while they do that, drop a word. Our audience, drop a word. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? We're gonna get to all of your questions. There's gonna be an encore in a sec where you get to talk with them. And I can see in the chat, my team is moving all of your questions over. I'm not leaving until you get your question answered, okay? Curious, inspired, hopeful, encouraged. So good. Who's ready for these kind of results? Who is so ready? Do you want access? I wanted to take 1 minute just to give you access to the clinic growth map. I'm going to drop a link in the chat, or my team will, to book a strategy call. It is a free call. It is the same call they had. If anything, what they said resonated with you, and actually, will you tell me in the chat? We'll drop the link there. We're gonna push the link up in a second when you answer this. But was there somebody on the right now that you particularly connected with? That's something they said that you're like, oh my God, that's literally me. Let me know in the chat. Yeah, Caitlin said Ginny. Anybody else? A strategy call they'll tell you all about the clinic growth map, which is the program that every panelist took. I'm going to be honest though, I'm picky who I let in. You saw how powerful these people are, but they were as scared as you. But I am picky who I do let into the clinic growth map, and here's why. I think right now we have 120 five-star Google reviews, and I just want the people who are ready. Like, did I just freeze? Oh gosh, oh, there we go. I like really did this and then it just froze. Anyway, I want the people who are ready for next level results. And if that is you, book a call. Here's what they'll do. We talked about websites, right? Imagine a call, 45 minutes of strategy, them telling you what bottlenecks you have. We'll drop the link one more time, but if you want, well, I'll give you a gift on that call. Just mention it. And here's what it is. They'll look at your website. Let's make some tweaks immediately. They'll do a website audit. They've looked at over like at least 500. They know what works. Get on the call. They'll help you with strategy, but they'll also help you make some tweaks because it's very specific right now what's working on your website. And then they'll let you know if you'd be a good fit for your next step, which would be the clinic growth map. And by the way, did you know it's CE approved for like 20 CE credits? Any Canadian psychologist here, it's CE approved with the CPA and then the NBCC in America. So if you're part of either of those, ask about that as well. Anybody have a call? Have you already had a strategy call? Will you share in the chat like what you got from it? Sometimes it's nice to hear from our peers if you've had a strategy call and the difference that it made. And one last thing before we bring them up. If you are from a small town or you're a new mom or you just got out of school and you want to speak to somebody on the telephone like a graduate, just like the people you met today, mention that. You can. We are an open book. If you want to connect with somebody from your city or state who did the program, you can. Now, I don't know if it's going to be one of the panelists because I feel like I don't want to give them like 25 calls, but some of you might get to speak with one of them. We'll see. Yvonne said it. He's heard me say it before. I'm going to reiterate it. Do it scared. I know fear feels like freeze, but what if it meant that you were on the cusp of what you are meant to do on this planet? I still remember sitting in my hot tub with Dan and turning to him and saying, babe, I'm going to do it scared. I'm terrified. But most people won't do it scared. So, babe, I feel like if I do it and I get the right person to do it with, I think I'll do okay. Who's ready to do it scared? Will you put it in the chat? Me. Who's ready that you're like, okay, all I needed to hear is what Christina said, or okay, what Yvonne said really resonated, and I'm ready. I'm ready to link arms with other people. Yay! I see a me. Drop a me if you were ready to do it scared. Here's a terrifying stat. Did you know that most people earn within 20% of the income of their closest friends? Who are you hanging out with? I wanted to hang out with people who were 10 steps ahead of me and by osmosis just begin to do what they're doing and then begin to think how they're thinking and then begin to get their results. Really think about who you've been surrounding yourself with and if you need to change that up. You don't have to do this alone. As I think Yvonne said, zero chance I would have hit the 7-figure mark if I didn't get a business coach. Zero chance. Had no clue what I was doing. Ponder this. Tell me actually in the chat, what is the cost for not doing it? What's the cost? For me, I was so drained. This is a little embarrassing. By the end of the night, I would get home. And after holding space for way too many clients, I had no conversation left in me. Do you relate? Peace of mind, family time. I had no conversation left in me. My husband would be like, how's your day? And I just, you know what I would crave? Television. I just needed to not listen. I know that sounds so bad. Please drop a me if you relate. Okay, thank you, Jenna. I just needed to not listen and not talk. And just it had to be either funny or like super like I'm talking like The Bachelor, like the shows that absolutely I love. Yes. After yes, yes. Okay, good. I'm not the only one. But it was costing me, and thank God Dan loved me through it. I'm going to drop the link to the bonus as we bring them up. We're going to answer all of your questions. Maddie's going to read out the questions. Cass is going to bring them up for an encore. There's the bonus. If it got pushed up, just scroll down and you will see it. Okay. Let's get to the questions. Hi, Maddie.
Great. We have so many great questions for you guys. The first one comes from Ginny, who asked Caitlin, what would you say the benefits of doing this on your own, or if you can speak to doing this with a business partner might be?
Perfect. Did you hear that, Caitlin? Maybe say it one more time because she just popped on camera.
Yep. So Ginny asked, what would you say the benefits of doing this if it was on your own versus with a business partner might be?
I think with a business partner, you absolutely have to have the right person, and that can't be understated enough. Chelsea and I have been best friends for a long time. We have different personalities, but the way that we communicate, and if there's ever any, not necessarily conflict, but difference in opinion, we have a way of talking it through. And it's a very, like, special and unique relationship. And I think it's tricky to do it with a business partner that you don't have a really, really strong, solid relationship with. The benefits are that you get to split all of these pieces of the business with, and her strengths are different than my strengths, and vice versa. With that being said, then you also split that income as well. So there are lots of, costs and benefits to having a business partner, but having the right person is so significant.
Awesome. And the next question comes from Christina, who asked, how do you navigate therapists leaving or admin leaving?
Who wants to take that one? Lavonda, yeah. Oh, yeah, because you talked about that at the beginning. Yes.
So I think when my first hire left, it broke my heart because it was like your child leaving and going off to college, and then they tell you they're not coming back. So that was really hard. But I think it's been such a great learning experience, right? And so now we've had people that have left and maybe they dropped down to part-time, and I think one, I had to prepare my nervous system because I think first, I'm a therapist human first, and so when people leave, I'm like, you're leaving me. So it feels initially bad, but I think as I've grown as a business owner, you recognize that people will leave, and that's okay. And what I've also learned is that like I can survive any season because I believe in this business and I believe in what I'm doing and I believe in the people that we welcome here. And I will say that most of the people have left on good terms. So I think that it also, if people are leaving, I don't have to necessarily like feel really bad because it's always been a really positive experience when they have left. And so I think you, if you prepare your nervous system, if you know your business, you'll be okay.
So good.
Amazing. All right. Our next question comes from Sharon, who said, I'm worried about cash flow. I don't think it's a limiting belief, but it's already an issue for me as a solo provider. How do I overcome that?
Who wants to take that one, Christina? Or Yvonne? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think with that, I'm a numbers person. I like to make decisions based on data. So I guess it depends on what it is that you're trying to achieve. For me, that was one of the limiting beliefs around, spending money for the course, for marketing, for a lot of things. And I broke it down into, okay, how many new clients do I need to make this happen? And it turned out not to be that many. But also, these are skills that can be learned. There's tons of resources within the program, but also outside books, Profit First, things like that, that give you like a framework that you can use consistently and give you a lot of clarity with the numbers. I feel that once you step into that role and build a group practice, the very nature of it starts to illuminate the way, right? And then you just find out what are those areas in which you're lacking, and you learn more there, because we're not finished products either, right? Like we're also learning and becoming a different kind of version of who we were before we started the journey.
Yeah. Sharon, if I could also say, because I had the twins and they're expensive, two cribs, two high chairs, like two of everything. There's two ways of doing it. So one is growing at the speed of cash, where you'll grow slower because it's like, okay, I'm not going to take a loan, I'm not going to dip into my savings. Or if you, I'm not telling you to take a loan, but if you, I dipped into my savings because I wanted the good website. I just wanted it from the beginning. I wanted the business coaching. You're seeing people nod. I wanted the furnished, like the paint, the teal, all the things. So know that if it's a choice, so there's a lot of people in my program that grow at the speed of cash flow. It's just slower, and that's okay. And then there's a lot of people who get the money through a line of credit or something, and then they grow faster naturally because you have the cash to invest in the things. But I would check in with yourself which one resonates.
Right. The next question comes from Lindsay, who said, I'm not sure I can handle the pressure of helping other clinicians be successful in filling their caseloads. I'm afraid that I'll fail them.
Can I say this? I know I'm not on the panel, but just real quick, and then raise your hand. I want to go to you next because I know you have lots to say. I hear this all the time, Lindsay. I think this is the reason people don't start. And I didn't have this. And I'm like, why didn't I have this? So, Lindsay, I want to give you my reframe of why I didn't struggle with this. I just told myself, I'm going to do my best. That's all I got. I'm going to do my best. And if I get them half full, the first one, and the second one, maybe not all the way full, I'm going to try again. If someone leaves, I'm just going to do my best. And then just really knowing, and all these panelists will tell you, I did fail twice. I had a play therapist. Parents didn't want to pay for play, they didn't understand. I had an ABA therapist. Both of them I did not get full, and I still reached the seven-figure mark. Here's what I want you to hear. I failed, but failure is part of progress. Every single one on the panel on here on this call failed. Maybe the marketing thing didn't turn out. So failure is part of progress. Take that away. Anything to add, guys? Anybody have a what helped you with your reframe?
I think only hiring therapists that you really believe in, ones that are very solid. We're not picking therapists where you're like, I don't know about, I'll be honest. Okay, this round of hiring I'm in right now has been very exhausting. And I'm almost trying to convince myself to hire a therapist because we desperately need another clinician. And I have to remind myself, do not do that because you're going to create more problems for yourself in the future. So I think a lot of it comes from the therapist and your confidence in them. And I also think that just remember private pay is or private practice is not guaranteed, whether they're in solo or working for a group. Like that's why a lot of people want the predictability of a salary in a mental health agency. So whether they're working for you, working for another group, or going out on their own, they're still taking that risk.
Yep. Thank you for that.
Awesome. The next question comes from Keith, who's currently still starting out in solo. Specifically for Yvonne, how did you create lots of prospects and clients to bring on your first couple of counselors? I can't find a way to bring on more clients.
Right. So the first therapists that I hired were interns, so they had a lower rate. So that already was a selling point for them. And around that time was when we were rebuilding the website. I think once we rebuilt the website, our increase went up to the roof. It was initially virtual, I remember saying, but by September that same year, we got this office, and moving to in person did bump everything up. So I think that the offering kind of really is an element to consider there. A lot of people are looking for in person now. Yeah, that's that. In my experience, that's what I did and what worked.
Caitlin, anything to add there? I want to ask you because you have such a big team. And so, in some ways, that would feel like Lindsay and Keith said, more pressure to bring all these clients in.
Yeah, I think for us, we are in a city of about 100,000 people, so we had a good reputation before, and we had a larger social media presence. So that piece just kind of helped have that base. But really, we started 2024 with about 12 therapists, and right now we're almost at 27. So through doing the Google ads, through SEO, through kind of our own marketing and connecting with other professionals and doctors and presentations and PD, we're able to grow from 12 to 27. So a lot of consistent marketing efforts there as well, and making sure that our team is the right fit. And we've had some therapists that left and ups and downs, but having that strong foundation of this is our, our expertise, and then branching out from that.
Amazing.
Um, the next question comes from Sarah, who said, Christina, I think, mentioned that she used solo profit to invest into the group. Did you keep your solo practice separate from the group, or did you move your clients under your group?
I didn't have to move them because my practice is elevation behavioral therapy. So I was already, and I purposely do not name your practice after yourself. Have a broad name. That's 101, I would say. So I always knew that there was a possibility that I would hire. So I had this name that I could work with that was separate from my own name. And then they were already under that practice. And then as I brought on therapists, they were just coming in under that practice.
Awesome. The next question comes from Valdon, who said, one of my limiting beliefs centers around being a single father to a toddler. I'm not available for night or weekend appointments, and I also believe that any potential therapists I employ shouldn't have to primarily work these hours either. I'm curious what the hours are the busiest for everyone's clinic.
Hmm. It's a good question. Mine was evenings and weekends, Valdon. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of nods. I don't see you not nodding though, Yvonne. Same with you?
Yes. So evenings are the busiest days and times that we have. I was very curious to hear that piece of you don't think other therapists should prioritize those times. I think if you offer those times when you're hiring, if you make it clear that that's the expectation, there will be somebody who only wants to work those days, and you're not doing them a disservice. I think that's part of the art of finding the right fit. It starts with you having the right ask, so that they know what you need and expect, and then those are the people who are gonna come and join you.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. So, Valdon, I give members a screening where we ask, can you work evenings and weekends? And we don't hire them if they can't. It's just one of those things that we all kind of had to do at the beginning. And because you can't, I think you could live a life that those clients get seen, just not by you. That's actually the beauty of a group practice. So hopefully you have a reframe there.
Okay, wonderful. Our next question is from Rose, who said, I'm insurance-based practice. How do you deal with hiring fully licensed therapists when it can take months for therapists to be credentialed? The therapist needs to be credentialed first for revenue to practice before starting employment.
Lavonda.
You just have to be patient, right? We are kind of a hybrid practice. So our couples that we see, we do out of pocket because we really focus on some systemic work and relational work and not diagnosing our couples. And so that's kind of a lead in for us. And then some people just want to pay out of pocket, right? And so if we limit how many insurances we also take because I want to give my clinicians the benefit of the doubt of like actually getting a decent reimbursement. So we only take two insurances. And so if they're fully licensed, they can automatically, take those private pay clients that we already have. Or some insurances will allow you, especially if clients have a high deductible, they have to pay out of pocket anyway. And so then they can submit an out of network benefit or then submit later to get reimbursed for those insurance, for those private pay sessions that they had.
That's really good advice. Okay. So hopefully you took that away, Rose, because I've heard that you can do private pay just, until, but then private pay might be hard. But I like that deductible piece. So I would check your contract with who you're paneled with. You might need to call them, but yeah, I love that idea.
Awesome. And our next question comes from Jenny, who said, one of my limiting beliefs is regarding fit and experience of a therapist I'm considering hiring. I have a vibe in my practice, as my families tell me, and I worry too much about finding therapists that fit within the experience and education level and the vibe I have set so far. Can you speak to hiring for your practice and your beliefs and systems you follow to hire your just right fit?
I'm going to jump in and then I feel like Yvonne wants to say something as somebody else. I believe you should. I don't know if you've been to other events, Jenny, but hire what I call a mini me. I'm with you. I do think, especially because you're going to be moving your clients over, I made this big mistake. Um, First, I'll define what a mini me is. They're similar to you in four things: personality, AKA vibe, energy. I have a certain energy, AKA vibe, demographic. 27-year-olds, guess what? They want to see younger therapists. I realize that. And then the last, so personality, energy, demographic. And then the last one is the obvious one, modality, right? You want them. The vibe is probably maybe you're somatic. That's a vibe. CBT, different vibe. I hired when I was 27. I gave my practice away, long story, to a 50-year-old. She was very calm and timid and not direct, completely different than me, and nobody stayed. You're right. Vibe's so important. And the last thing I want to say, Jenny, is you're really going to like them. We like people who we feel are kind of like us. So you're going to vibe with them during the interview and don't settle for less, like Christina said. In CGM, we call it your hell yeah. It has to be a heck yeah. Like this is the person. Because if it's not a hell yeah, it's a hell no. Anything to add, guys?
I was gonna say the same thing. I mean, the vibe is key. Like, yes, there's a system, there's the expectations you have in terms of personality test and all those things, but ultimately we're hiring the person. We're not. I don't care what letters you have after your name or what trainings you've done, and I think that's so important that it took me a while to learn to trust my gut on that because initially I was like, okay, it looks really good on paper. I'm not so sure how I feel about them, but they take all the boxes, and those didn't work out that well. So yeah, we now I have it in my interview that I do. Are they an unwinder or no? Because my practice is called Mind Unwind. So
Oh, I love
are they
that.
an unwinder or no? And if the answer is no, then it doesn't matter what came after it, before all that. We just don't won't move forward.
Amazing.
Awesome. Our next question comes from Nicole, who said, what are the pitfalls or stresses of having a group practice? These all sound incredible, and I long for that, but I imagine getting to a place where your clinic runs itself isn't easy, and there can be lots of roadblocks. And how did you navigate those challenges?
Yeah. Christina, do you want to jump in or Caitlin?
I will say, I feel like you have to have thick skin and grit. You cannot be a person that like something goes wrong. I mean, you can panic. I definitely panic, but you can't be a person that panics and then like retreats into their bed and pulls up the covers and does nothing. Like you can have your panic moment and then you have to go into action. It isn't always easy. I hired a therapist last year that seemed like a perfect fit. It was a hell yes. Everything seemed great. And once she started, it was an absolute nightmare. It was very stressful for me. It was very stressful for our admin team. Fortunately, we were able to get her out of the practice very quickly. But I will say that like you will have moments or seasons that are more challenging, and it's just weathering the storm, like anything else in life. You know, in a relationship, you might have hard moments, but most of it is good, and you just have to know that you can get through those, and really come out the other side and be fine.
It's good.
Wonderful. We have one last question moved over for you guys. This one comes from Eric, who said, I'd love to hear how people navigated any potential slowdowns or if you're experiencing that of the economy and AI therapy competition and the risk of growing and filling caseloads. It feels hard to imagine being able to fill others' caseloads right now compared to a few years ago.
Who wants to jump in?
Yeah, we've definitely had periods where things are slower, and we really just kind of lean into some of the marketing strategies that have worked for us, right? We may put a little bit more in Google Ads. I may post a little bit more on social media. We've done Facebook ads as well, which are a bit more work and not a super high ROI. But for those slower seasons when we're like, nothing's really working and we have some therapists we need to fill, we just lean into some of those methods. And sometimes it just is what it is, right? In the summer, long weekends, it's like, you know what, it's just a quieter time, and knowing that things will pick up, right? September, August, even for us, people getting ready to go back to school, and the fall where kids are like, not wanting to go, and a lot of problems crop up. We know that slow seasons are just part of the ebb and flow of group practice and private practice too.
That's such good advice. I think that from the outside, if they haven't started, I think the fear is there's just ebb, no flow. Like, what if it never flows? But there is this ebb and flow. And typically, though, the lows aren't as low as they used to be. So the trajectory is like this, but it's still, it's seasonal, right? Like August is a really good point. Caitlin pointed out something earlier as well, Eric, around what I heard her say, the snowball effect happens. I was at 12, now I'm at 27. They know me in my small community. You can leverage off of your reputation where word of mouth is now coming in. Do you see that? And over time, Google likes you more. Your SEO is only getting better.
Yeah.
So know that there's a snowball effect.
So that's everything we have moved over.
Okay, I just want to thank you. Thank you, Christina, Yvonne, Lavonda, and Caitlin. Thank you for trusting me. Really. Thank you for trusting me and letting me walk beside you during this journey. I'm so proud of you. Give them a round of applause, everybody. They were so generous with all of their secrets. And thank you, everybody else. Thank you for coming. I hope you got so much and took lots and lots of notes. And we'll see everybody soon. Thanks, guys. See you soon. Bye.